Welcome to the Unique Indoor Comfort Customer Experience Training Program. This training module will focus on the foundation of human behavior. During this video, you will learn the unique characteristics of the 4 primary behavioral styles, how to quickly identify a person's dominant style, and the basis of communicating with each. Also during this video, you will learn how to modify your style to those of your customers to ensure the best customer experience.
What follows is a model that identifies main behavioral style that, when used properly, will help you facilitate interaction with people and prepare us to more effectively manage and motivate others. The model is a tool for observing and analyzing behavior. It is not an analysis of one's personality. The model does not classify people as good or bad, nor does it measure intelligence. It does not measure knowledge or skills, and no one behavioral style is better or worse than the other. Consider this. There are 4 behavioral scales or measuring devices that we can use to measure someone's behavior. The first scale is how we deal with problems and challenges. The second is how we deal with people. The third, environment and structure. And the fourth, rules. They're labeled as D, dominant, I, influencer, S, steady relator, and C, compliant. Take out a piece of paper and draw this diagram for a self-assessment. Let's take the D scale. Above the midline are people that enjoy problem solving and challenges. They are people that are comfortable taking risks. High Ds like to work on things that other people believe can't be done. Low Ds, those who are below the line, are not motivated by problem solving or extraneous challenges. Life is complicated enough. Why look for problems? They will take on challenges, but only if the probability is high that they will be successful. So, what do you believe high Ds think of low Ds? Generally, people who are high Ds think of low Ds as risk-averse, unmotivated, people that need to step up. And vice versa, low Ds typically think high Ds are aggressive, careless, sometimes reckless, and perhaps overambitious. At this point on the diagram you drew on your paper, place an X where you believe you are. Now let's move to the I scale. People who are above the line, who are high Is, love people. Life's a party. They're social, and they like to be involved with many. They're the promoters of the world. Those who are below the line, or low Is, believe people are somewhat overrated, more problems than what they're worth. In fact, fun to them might be being placed on an island all by themselves with a library of books. So what do you think a high I thinks of a low I? Often they think that the low I is a hermit, recluse, needs to live it up a little bit. Vice versa, low Is typically think high Is often overstep their bounds, perhaps get too close to people. They believe that they're spending too much energy out there being liked. At this point, put an X where you believe you are. Let's move to the S scale, how we deal with environment or structure. High S's love structure and process. It's very important. Everything has a place and a way it should be done. Low Is, on the other hand, well, they believe that home is where you hang your hat. They take it as it comes. Environment and structure is not very important. So what do you think high S's think of low S's? Often high S's believe low S's are inefficient, perhaps a bit careless, messy, and in some cases undependable. On the flip side, low S's think high S's are overly methodical, stuck doing the same thing over and over again, slow and unwilling to change. Take a moment and put an X where you believe you are. Last but not least, let's take a look at the C scale. People who are high C often find that their life is guided by rules, regulations, and criteria. Details are very important and necessary. Having full knowledge on a subject is paramount before any action is taken. People who are on the low side of the scale believe that rules are not that important, simply, well, guidelines to consider. In fact, some operate off of one rule, that rules are made to be broken. High Cs typically look at low Cs as fly by the seat of their pants, perhaps with not a whole lot of knowledge on any one particular subject. A jack of all trades, if you will, master of none. On the other side, low Cs think high Cs can be cold fish. not very personable, can't see the forest for the trees, and they take forever to do something. Now place an X where you think you are. Here's the self-assessment of a colleague of mine. Notice that he's above the line on problem solving and people, and below the line on environment and structure and rules. His dominant behavioral style is that of I or influencer. He's more of a people person, promoter, consensus builder, with a secondary trait of D, or dominant. So how can we quickly determine the predominant behavioral style with those that we do business with? When with somebody, ask yourself 2 questions. Is this person a job or task-oriented person, or are they a people-oriented person? Put another way, if given the choice between working on an awesome job, an awesome task, or working with awesome people, which one would motivate them most? In essence, are they north or south of this horizontal line? The second question is, are they extrovert or outgoing? Or are they introverted and reserved? In other words, do they share openly their ideas and their thoughts without being provoked? Or do they hold them in only to share when asked? Again, with this question, are they to the right or left of this line? Consider somebody you know and ask yourself these 2 questions, and then place them in the quadrant that they belong. You will see here that in the upper right-hand quadrant, this would be the D quadrant. Lower right, I. Lower left, S. And upper left, C. Let's discuss how to communicate with each style. High Ds are aggressive, competitive, and demanding. They're in a hurry and often interrupt others. They like to be direct, and they will challenge you. They are starters, not finishers. Things to them are black and white, really not a whole lot of gray. They want to be in control and often exceed authority because they get bored. And they don't like to listen sometimes. So to communicate with a dominant, a high D, be direct. Provide alternatives from which to choose from. Ensure they win. Disagree only on facts. Enjoy the battle. High Ds like to fight. Do not be emotional. There is no place for that here. Do not dominate. Consider this like an arm wrestling match. Don't let them pin you. Push back so that both arms are at a vertical, and don't exceed the vertical. Act quickly because they decide quite quickly. And finally, don't talk over him or her. Let's move on and talk about communicating with high Is. High Is, or influencers, tend to be quite talkative, social, and impulsive. They get very excited, and they will have a tendency to agree with you on many things. They have a small personal space. Remember, they like people. They often make promises that they can't deliver, always selling, but avoiding the details. They don't like boring or strict people, and they can often forget rules and make small mistakes. And as discussed earlier, are very good with people. So when communicating with a high I, be friendly and don't ignore what is important to them. Schedule time for chatting. This meeting will probably take longer than you anticipate. Let him or her speak. They want to be heard. Give recognition to what you've heard from them. Speak about people and feelings. Remember to follow up. And if appropriate, move closer. They'll enjoy the company. Let's move over to talk about high S's, or steady relators. Steady relators are thorough, steady, and systematic. They're quite polite and modest. They seek a secure and stable environment. They proceed carefully and often remain in the background. They listen more and talk less. Often they need instructions. They resist sudden change and have strong principles. They are very particular. They either like you or they don't. And they're extremely team-oriented and reliable. When communicating with a high S, or steady relator, slow down your presentation. Don't rush things. Work on building trust up front before getting into too many details. Focus on people. Although structure is very important to them, so are people. Provide the information he or she has asked for and needs. Present it logically. Secure a commitment piece by piece. Don't force feed the sale. Take it one step at a time. And be sure to be sincere. Do not dominate. Remember, high S's will avoid conflict almost at any cost. Finally, let's discuss how to communicate with high C's or compliance. High C's are very exacting, in fact, perfectionists. They're logical and analytical and are nervous about being wrong. They obey laws and all rules. They look for order. They often can be silent, matter of fact. They follow the rules, avoid risks, and can be diplomatically polite. So when communicating with a high C, provide the facts. Keep your distance. Again, they're job and task-oriented people, not people-oriented people. Be patient. Slow down. Give plenty of detailed information. Control your activity. No unnecessary tangents or divergence from the plan of action. Keep personal issues at a minimum. Don't pressure. And focus on the issues at hand. Make sure that all information that you provide quickly and easily passes through their "what's in it for me" filter.
That concludes this training video. Thank you for participating in this module. Don't forget to do your pre-work prior to class, and I'll see you in training.
The heart is a bloom